In the last video, I talked about sticker shock. Now, I want to make sure that you understand, don't walk away from checking out of college just because you see the big price, huge, massive price that is going to charge, they're going to charge you. I want to talk about what the FAFSA is, scholarships, merit-based grants, um, loans that you could take, both parent and child. So before you decide to check one college off or keep one college in. Make sure you understand what the net price will be and what you're signing up for as far as loan commitments. Here's point number one, FAFSA. Try to say that fast quickly. Stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. What does it do? It helps you get into the college with the information that they need to decide whether they can give you a grant, federal loans, work study. That's an interesting one that we could talk about a little bit later, and any other type of merit that your child would be applicable for. Even if you think you make too much money, you should fill out the application anyway, because this is just a starting point to see what you would be eligible for from that particular college. Again, it's free to fill out. You should fill it out. Here's a personal story for myself. I had two children, two daughters going to college pretty much back to back, 1 year after the other. And at the time, I think I mentioned in a previous video, I was going through a divorce, and my requirements that I had to pay for both kids' college education, not only the college education, but also their living expenses and everything. I didn't know how I was going to make it work, but I filled out the form for both kids, and one went to a private school, the other one went to a public school. I was able to get student loans, no scholar. Well, actually, one child got a scholarship, but it was quite minimal. It was only covered books for the first year. But the loans really helped me a lot. I was able to get through the loan process, the Pell Grants, the federal loans, and paid them off successfully after they finished college. So thankfully, without having gone through that FAFSA, I would not have known that I could qualify for those loans. And now my kids have no loans to pay back. Here's point number two. That's very important. Understand what is borrowed money and what is free money. Generally speaking, grants, scholarships, merit-based or need-based rewards from the school, even some Pell Grants, depending on what you're actually getting it for, are generally free to the child. So if you looking for free money, quote unquote, that's free money. But the loans that you take out, federal loans, private loans. Oh, in fact, there are a lot of different companies that provide student loans by private companies, like SoFi is a good example. Those you have to pay back. So make sure before you take any loan, calculate or scholarships. Make sure you understand that generally speaking, scholarships, merit-based, as I mentioned before, those are free. Any kind of loan, whether it's for the parent or for the child, they have to be paid back. And of course, during the last few years, those loans have become much more difficult to pay back based on how the government is reconciling it. Scholarships are real, but don't build your whole plan around these I'll call them miracles. You know, you can get all kinds of scholarships depending on what your child does academically, how your child does, say, um, extracurricular activities, sports, etc. So think about it from the standpoint of, if I'm academically, say at the top of the group, I could get a merit based on or scholarship based on my academics. If, for example, one of your kids has very good equestrian type background, they can go to a school that has a need for equestrian type activities. Or think about sports, other sports. For example, could be basketball, could be tennis, it could be golf even. Those are real, but not everybody can get these. And in fact, it's kind of difficult in some respects But if your kid has a very specific type of skill that the school is looking for to fill out their roster of of students, then this is definitely a path that you should consider. Appeal the aid offer. Oftentimes, a school will offer you something, whatever that something is, and it may not be enough. You can certainly go back and appeal the offer and ask them for your particular situation. I had a relative, as I mentioned in my first video, whose child wanted to go to a specific private school back east, and the school offered them uh, actually, I'm pretty sure it was nothing, but if nothing, very small amount. She appealed, and the college, based on their her appeal, did offer the child a significant amount of financial aid to go to that college. And today he's debt free, she's debt free, and happily working in a very prestigious company. Here is the fifth point. Compare all the costs when you're looking at a particular school and location. The cost is not just the tuition, it's not just the living expenses, it's also healthcare, food, transportation back home to come visit mom and dad, uh, even commuting from, say, they may be living off campus, commuting from the off campus rental unit back to school. All of those costs need to be calculated because let's say, $60,000 school might be less expensive than going to a $35,000 school if they have much more expensive commuting costs, living costs, etc. So compare all the costs completely. Here's main point number 6. Be careful about loans. Loans can be a financial burden if they're not treated correctly. Meaning, what if you took out a loan for the first 2 years and your kid decides not to finish college? You've now gotten stuck with this loan burden. Number 2, what if the kid decides to take a particular career path and the loans outweigh the salary that that person is going to earn once they finish college? These are very important things to consider. You know, the career path, the salary they're going to receive, and whether they're going to finish college. Also, don't forget that the community college path is a very viable path. Why take out a loan for 4-year college when the child can take the first 2 years of college at a community college and pay practically nothing? You know, the companies that they go work for after they finish college, they don't care about the community college that the kid went to before. They only care about the degree from where the child got their college from. So remember that the first 2 years are just the basics anyway. Here's the main point of number 7, the college pathway mindset. Think about this from the standpoint of it's not just what college you ended up finishing at. It's not about prestige. It's not about also feeling like you have to be pressured by your peers to go to a particular college. It's really about which pathways you can take to finish college and go down the path, finish college, or even go down the path where you've selected a career based on your interest and your child's interest. One is apprenticeship, could be. One is also trade school. Another one could be the community college pathway into a 4-year university. One could be also military. Don't forget, the military actually has some very good options. I have a niece that's in the military, paid for her college education, and actually now she's getting her master's degree. I also have another friend who went to the military and got his master's degree paid for by Stanford because of the military. And so there are also these things called work study while you are going to school. So the pathways to college are just as important as the college that you choose to go to or not go to, depending on your particular needs. So the big message is this: don't panic when you see this huge sticker price. Fill out the FAFSA, FAFSA, see what the school is able to give to you and your child. And if the aid for grants or scholarships is not enough, appeal the aid, and if it works, great. If not, then rethink what college pathway your child should go. But college should be a path to the world, not create financial burden for you and the family. I'm David Chan, and this is College Without the Panic. If you like what you see, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel. Thank you.